That was really lame. But we're here with episode 2 of the Fan Awakens podcast. I really want to try that again at the end because you really let me down there, buddy.
How else is this supposed to go?
Vroom, like you're blowing through the horn, you know?
I don't know if I have that in me.
I really hope you do. We're going to Star Wars Celebration, man. You got to have it in you. By that time, if you don't have it in you, I'm leaving you there. But anyways, I'm Eli. I'm here with my friend.
G.
G is back on the mic. We're here to talk about a lot of things, all things Star Wars. You may notice I'm wearing a new shirt from last week. I wasn't wearing this one. Actually, we didn't have it on video, so who knows? Maybe I was. For all they know, I'm wearing the same clothes and the same helmet that hasn't come off me since, well, honestly, about 5 minutes ago. But I'm committed. We're doing this whole episode with the Poe Dameron helmet, and that's that. BB-8, hurry! That was a terrible Poe Dameron impression, but I'm going to stick by it. And so we got a lot of things to talk about today.
Oh, yeah, we
do. A couple big things. So today we're going to go through, most of it's going to be episode 9 speculation. We have a lot of things coming out. And so I'm just going to get right into it, really. There's no reason to go around it. Is Han Solo related to Rey?
Oh, here we go.
Here's the thing. When you watch The Force Awakens, I've probably seen that movie, I don't want to know how many times. I've seen it probably near 80 or more. I don't know. That's complete honesty, you know, without exaggeration. Every time Rey comes up, it cuts. Like, so, tell me, Han, who's the girl? Looks at Han, cut. Anytime, and it's always with Han. You see him, she's like, I never knew there was this much green in the whole galaxy. And Han has a look. They cut to him specifically. He has a look like he feels guilt about it. I think he has to have some connection to Rey. He has to know something about her that we don't.
Yeah.
And I think that JJ definitely set that up. It didn't get carried over to episode 8, unfortunately, but I do believe he will. Because, you know, in episode 8, Kylo says, "You've known the whole time about your parents. Say it. Say it." And she goes, "They were nobody. Filthy junk traders. Traded you for drinking money." And I don't believe that's going to stand. I believe that in episode 9, JJ will retcon that or go around it in a way. Yes, I've heard the argument. Rey said it. He didn't trick her, but I do believe that there's obviously some mind games at work. Maybe her perception of what she knows of her parents at that young age and what it's evolved to over time has been nobody. But I don't believe that. I do believe she's going to be a somebody. Hopefully, if all works out, I would love her to be a Kenobi. Very slim chances of that, but I think it would be a wonderful... And Ewan McGregor did say, or someone said that they're not done using Obi-Wan yet.
Yeah.
In the episodic films. I would almost bet money that we're going to get Ewan McGregor as a Force Ghost in episode 9. But let's talk about the through line. What's going to get retconned? What we think is going to carry over from episode 7 that got set up to episode 9 that maybe didn't really carry through episode 8. And so my first one is I do not believe we've seen the last of Supreme Leader Snoke. Yes
Why do
or
you
no?
think that? Why do you think that?
Why do I think that?
Yeah.
I just think that it was odd to kill off Luke Skywalker and Supreme Leader Snoke in the second part of a trilogy. And I think that with expanding the Force the way we have with Force projections and that kind of stuff, and we're so familiar with Force ghosts from Jedis, I think there has to be some sort of afterlife for the dark side users as well. We haven't seen it. Maybe Snoke will be the first to learn how to use it and learn how to unlock that ability. We saw that Yoda can actually affect the environment. In episode 8, you know, he lifts his thumb, torches the tree. So I think that there's more to Snoke than I don't think we're done with him. I think that JJ introduced him for a reason. He wanted him to carry all the way through. This is all speculation, of course. Grain of salt here. But I do believe we're going to see him in some capacity.
Yeah, and when you brought up that point about 2 major deaths in a second movie. Luke and
it's not just major deaths, it's like the 2 pillars of each side. Even though Luke Skywalker hasn't been around in all these years, he's still, I think, the big pillar. Even though Rey is our Luke Skywalker, I don't care what anybody says, she is the main character of this trilogy. Episode 8 put her on the back burner. which has kind of weighed on me over time. I still enjoy episode 8 a lot, but it does bother me. Well, I'm just going to get into this right now, okay? We talked about it a little bit before, but I have nothing. I'm not going to trash episode 8. It's one of my favorite Star Wars films in the franchise. I think it still ranks probably third for me. Maybe fourth. It may have gone down for Force Awakens, A New Hope, episode 8, episode 5. It might be episode 5, episode 8 now. But I think that you spent too much time at the end. Well, at the end, Rey comes in the Millennium Falcon, and she saves the rebels by destroying those TIE fighters, and then she just leaves. And I get it, they're chasing her, she has to get rid of them. But then when she comes back, this is a deleted scene, but it still counts, because if they put on the deleted scenes, it is canon. She flies back. She already saw all these walkers, and she was prepared to go and fight. She came in and fought. She left Luke's training to go fight. And when she sees the fight, she goes, let's go around back. And they leave. Here's my thing. I think that what should have happened, in my personal opinion, and I think Rian Johnson is a tremendous filmmaker, and he gave us a tremendous story, but I think that Rey should have landed the Falcon there when Kylo was, going at Luke. Luke would have given that speech he gave, "I will not be the last Jedi." And that's one of my favorite Star Wars movies, moments of all time, when Rey stands there lifting the rocks and that musical cue comes in. It's beautiful to me. It almost brought me to tears. But I think that, one, we need to plug in the computer. And two, I think that you should have had that final exchange with Luke Skywalker between Luke, Rey, and Kylo. Rey just should have been there when she's Luke. She's like the Luke of this story.
Yeah.
She should have been there. And maybe Luke, I think Kylo was so hell-bent on killing Luke that Luke could have told her to go off and save the rest, and Kylo would have stayed there to fight Luke. I think he would have stayed there. He wouldn't have sent people after him. He was so narrow-focused on Luke that I think it would have been more effective, to be honest, and I just don't know how you didn't have Rey as a part of that exchange directly. But we heard from Finn himself, John Boyega. He did say that at one of the Comic-Cons a couple months ago, JJ texted him, or Daisy texted him, that JJ said, Finn and Rey are back together in episode 9, and that is all I want. You know that my favorite part of episode 7 was the friendship of Finn and Rey. We have two characters. They have never had anyone care about them in their lives, and they get thrust into this story together, and for the first time they have a friend. They have someone who cares about them, and it's shown how much they care about each other. Finn risks everything just to save Rey in both movies. And I think that it's about time we finally get them together, so that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
In terms of
anything, is there any hot takes you got? Are there any takes? What do you think Knights of Ren maybe for episode 9?
Now, what I really was thinking about is, just Rey being the main, the main
focus. And I do think now that Luke's gone, he will be. I bet you we get 20 plus minutes of him as a Force Ghost. But yeah, that's what I'm really excited for, to see Daisy Ridley once again, like episode 7, be the main focus.
Yeah.
And Kylo Ren.
Yeah, because I was just I was thinking about the posters, the posters to the two movies, and
oh yeah, we got them right up there.
Yeah, and it's like Rey is for the Force Awakens. Rey was the, she's the biggest. Yeah, one of the biggest at least, or if not. She is our protagonist.
Yeah, she is the New Hope. Before, Luke was the New Hope. Now, and is stated beautifully, Rey, I'm paraphrasing here, is the light that will ignite the flame that will extinguish, or how does it go?
Burn
this is a light that will ignite the fire that will burn the First Order to the ground, said by Poe Dameron. And one thing I also want to touch on, everybody keeps saying that this romance is happening between Rey and Poe.
Okay.
I don't see it. I've seen what they've done in the comics, in the Star Wars comic. I forget which issue. They have a little moment. Don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen. If
but
anything,
is that canon,
Rey
though?
should be with Finn. I've said this repetitively. Rose can go do something else. She can be with Finn. If anyone's going to be with Rey, it is going to be Poe. Kylo can get out of... Kylo, stop. He is irredeemable. He killed his father. He almost killed his mother. He damn near killed his mom. He tried to maliciously kill Luke. and you understand why, but he still tried to do it. And he's hellbent. He said he's going to kill Rey. I don't see how people who think that Rey and Kylo are going to be together, I do not understand.
Yeah, it's just really interesting to think about how everyone's arc is, gonna play. And
because in episode 7, I think the plot line sort of were funneling in. Episode 8 funneled them out.
It did. Expanded.
It's really crazy.
Yeah.
But I do believe that, I think that the thing about episode 8 is it's a terrific story, extremely well directed, well written. The dialogue's all great, but it doesn't feel that adventurous to me. Whereas episode 7 felt like a trek, Star Trek. Felt like a trek. It felt like an adventure. It felt like an
adventure. It's funny you should use that word, J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams is going to do that for episode 9, guaranteed.
Yeah.
I would love it. I know people would get on him again, and now I understand he shouldn't do this because people would just never let him live it down. Like, nah, you're just copying episode 3. But I always thought it would be the most beautiful and poetic thing.
Poetic, yes.
Poetic if Rey ended up being a Kenobi. We know that Vader's castle is still in Mustafar, and they visit it. If you don't know, Supreme Leader Snoke, the ring he wears with the black crystal in episode 8, it's from a crystal from under Vader's castle on Mustafar, where Anakin and Obi-Wan fought. And I always thought it would be incredible if it turns out Rey's a Kenobi. We know that Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, is a Skywalker. If they end this trilogy in a battle back where it all started, Obi-Wan and Anakin fought on Mustafar at Vader's castle. If they went back there, and that's where the final confrontation took place, I think that would be incredible. I think it'd be poetic. I think it'd connect all 3 trilogies. It would please, and finally, I think it would be a similar fight. I think we finally in episode 9 are gonna get the episode 7 fight is one of my favorites. The one in the end in the woods.
Oh yeah.
But it's an inexperienced fighter. She's not a polished fighter,
Yeah.
Kylo's injured. He has skills with his blade, but he's injured. He's not 100%. I think in 9 we will get that Obi-Wan versus Anakin type fight.
Oh.
I do believe that we will have that prequel type choreographed fight.
Yeah.
And it will be. I can't even wait. John Williams. It's going to be his last Star Wars score.
Yeah.
If you want to see a grown man cry, go with me to see Star Wars for the first or the 50th time. I guarantee water will be coming out of my eyes in episode 9.
I am sure for many fans, because this is the end of the Skywalker saga.
So they say.
Yeah, so they say.
So they say. I don't really believe that. But I bet you I'll believe it when I'm watching it.
Yeah, I just wonder.
Rey is going to drive her saber into Kylo Ren's heart. She's going to kill him.
Ooh.
She's going to kill him. And I'm going to cheer.
No, that's quite the bold speculation right there.
She's going to kill him, man. If people thought Rey was going to turn to the dark side, she's like a Disney princess now. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting story idea, but nah. No, I think they could be cousins, or maybe I do still like the idea that she was a youngling at the Jedi Academy that Luke had built, and that's when Kylo, overthrew the place. Someone got her out. I still love that idea, and she was too young to maybe remember it fully. And maybe it was her parents that took her. Maybe her parents were there too training, and they were on the run from Kylo, and that's why she thought they were junk, they were nobody, filthy traitors, who sold her off for drinking money. Maybe that was just they ran out of options and they had to leave her somewhere to protect her. And maybe Kylo chased them down and killed them. That's why in The Force Awakens, they're like, a droid stole a ship. It's like they had help from a girl. And then he flips.
Yeah.
What girl? He clearly knows something. It's another point that Rey is not nobody. He knows something. And I think that it would be incredible if we got that backstory that her parents were on the run from Kylo Ren, the First Order, and they dumped her at Jakku just to save her life. Well, they led them off the trail and ultimately perished by hands of Kylo Ren.
Ooh.
Or the Knights of Ren.
More motivation to...
Yes, more motivation. I think that would be incredible. It'd be incredibly powerful to have that realization all come through, and she rises above revenge.
Yeah.
She still has to, trump him, defeat him, but it's not. It's in a powerful way, similar to Luke in the final throne room fight in Episode 6.
Yeah,
I'm a Jedi, like my father before me.
Yeah, because it's true. That's like her like, that's one of the biggest things, like, starting on Force Awakens, that it's her parents, like they'll come back, like, they're coming back,
Yeah.
and then, when she begins to, like, well, we see it really in episode 8 where, where Kylo was, digging deeper and, like, who they are, like, yeah,
say it.
And then
say it, and she says it.
Yeah.
But that could be really
exactly.
deep psychological stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. It could, like,
she was young when she got dropped off.
Like, it's probably in her mind. Like, she's probably, she probably has battled with that thought. Like, my parents probably were just these nobodies.
They left me, and who knows? Yeah. I'm sure that Unkar Plot, who was the guy in charge of her, who they dropped her off to,
Simon Pegg.
I'm sure that I could just see over the years him, like, her asking for her parents and him just saying they're junk. They sold you to me for booze.
Yeah.
I could just see him saying stuff like that, and I think that would. I mean, she's a child. That's what she grows up knowing. You want to deny it so you can keep moving forward and all that kind of stuff and stay positive and keep going in life. But I think that it just presents a very interesting plot that would definitely add a lot more depth to the character that people, they try and take that shot like she doesn't have any depth. I think she has a lot of depth.
Yeah.
But I think that hopefully they retcon it in a way like that.
Yeah.
For a while, I liked the idea of her just taking on the name Skywalker. Say over the years, she got close to Leia. I don't like that idea anymore. The more I've thought about it, I mean, I would be okay with it if Leia's like, if that's the way they continue the Skywalker saga. It's like, I'm not Luke. I'm not one of you. I'm just this orphan girl, and like Leia could have had a moment like, no, you're more than that. You are, basically you are what the Skywalker name stands for, something like that. Could be a moment. Don't know how they're gonna do it. But yeah, that's my hope.
But no, I really like that whole point of, like, the motivation between, like, what could possibly be, like, a reason as to what happened to Rey's parents. Like, that would be, like, such a big thing if that was the case, where if it was Kylo Ren and the First Order that killed off her parents, because, and then that's like that's like one of the biggest things we know about her, is like how much she wants to know about,
and
who she is.
It would be huge for the character. I'm telling you, it would be huge.
And
the
then
revelation
for her,
to her, I think you almost need that for her to realize, like, they weren't nobody.
Yeah, and then for the moment, like, she rises above revenge. Like, and that's even more powerful.
I think you can tie this in with Lando. I think that Lando was still a general at the time. I'm assuming, they're rebuilding. He was still a general, fighting battles. Maybe he knew her parents, and she's like, he's like, oh, where are you from? He has that similar conversation. What if they're talking about her backstory? Leia doesn't have to know this. Han spent a lot of time away from Leia in between 6 and 7. They touch on that in the extended universe, the books. He spends a lot of time because they both run away from. They run back to what they know. He went back to being a smuggler, But I think it would be interesting if that could be like Lando comes back into the fold, and they're talking about Rey's backstory, and Lando turns, is like, Rey, he's like, you're not nobody. It's like, that's, your parents weren't filthy junk traders, and they could have this moment. And he could reveal, who she was and what happened. It's like they were on the run. Maybe Han helped smuggle them. I think that would be incredible if Han smuggled her to Jakku, or he helped smuggle her parents away off planet or something, or Lando did. They're both smugglers. I think that'd be incredible. I just want to call J.J. Abrams right now and ask him.
Now, it's like, well, I could also see, like, yeah, for instance, like, if that moment happened with, like, a revelation where Rey discovers, like, something happens, like, what truly happens to her parents. And then this is where, Finn could come into, like, like a huge...
Yeah.
And then, like, to try to, like,
he's her friend.
Yeah.
Her best friend.
Exactly. Like,
well, now, I'm sure by the time 9 comes around, she'll be friends with Poe and Rose, but
yeah,
her
like,
first friend.
The main, and the first friend, the first people they came into contact with. So it's like, that would be, like, so, like, you could just see how...
Yep, we can have a really sincere moment.
Yeah.
With John Williams bringing in that score like he knows how to do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I do think that that's the biggest thing I want. I really want a redemption of the story of Rey. I think that although I do enjoy The Last Jedi, I think they really kind of missed the opportunity with Rey on a lot of, in the third act, really. I thought all her interaction with Luke and Kylo was excellent. I just wish that they would have taken the story in a slightly different direction. But I do love that now it presents the opportunity for a big revelation, which is incredible, and I hope that happens. But another thing I want to touch on, do we see the Knights of Ren in episode 9, or do they become a completely irrelevant thing that's been constantly referenced? Kylo Ren, master of the Knights of Ren. Do we see them? I can't imagine we don't.
It's like I just can't, because like that shot that we see in the trailer to Force Awakens, like we literally see.
We assume.
Yeah, we assume. That is true. We're assuming.
And they specifically say that Kylo killed most of the students and took some with him. You gotta imagine those are the Knights of Ren. You gotta imagine the other Force-sensitive students of Luke Skywalker who betrayed him have to be the Knights of Ren, which means we could have other Force users under Kylo. Rey could fight them. It's also mentioned in, I believe, the visual dictionary, which has to play in episode 9, I'm assuming, depending on where JJ wants to go. He has to have either one or both. Has to. Either the Knights of Ren heavily involved, which I can't imagine he doesn't since he introduced the idea of them. That's his brainchild. Or it's mentioned that Snoke had another apprentice. And I think that you need another antagonist in some way, especially with Snoke being gone, if he really is gone. I think you bring in the second apprentice. I think that I also want the return of the Sith. I want Sith to return. I think that now that Kylo doesn't have to appeal to Snoke and answer to Snoke, his dream is to be Darth Vader. He wants to live up to Darth Vader's legacy. And Darth Vader, he was not just a dark side user, he was a Sith.
He was, yeah. That's important to keep in mind.
And so I think that he will I think we will for sure see Return of the Sith. And the rule of 2, we know about that. Does he take on an apprentice? Does he take on this other apprentice? Does he know about him? A lot of questions, you know?
I do have, this is a bit of a sidetrack, but I wonder, R2, he's functioning, right?
Like, of course.
Because I wonder, what he was on the Falcon.
Don't do that. R2 ain't gonna die. If
no,
R2 dies,
I didn't say
burn down my own.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying,
Oh, if he knows something?
Or, well, we already, he had that big information about, the final piece to the map. But I'm just like, because, he always
saves the day.
Yeah, he comes through and he saves the day. And then,
I think it's BB-8's turn. But I would love to see a scene of R2 school and BB-8.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Something like that. Oh my! I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Oh my god!
They're on the ship and BB-8's trying to fix a problem, and like R2, just because he has so much personality, I could see R2 just riding up and bumping him out of the way. Doing something and fixing it. I would be ecstatic to see that.
Oh my! I didn't think about that.
I still think that R2 has saved more lives than anybody in Star Wars.
That is without
R2. There would be no Luke Skywalker because there would be no Anakin Skywalker. He is the GOAT. He is the savior. R2-D2 is the chosen one. I believe he probably is Force sensitive.
Yeah, because we were talking about this initially with the relationship between Poe Dameron and BB-8, and for a large part of the movie in Episode 8, BB-8 was not with Poe Dameron.
Yeah. I don't get it. Why they keep separating BB-8 and Poe? He's his droid. You talked about this.
Yeah.
There's other droids out there.
With Obi-Wan, we were talking about that.
All 5. Just give Finn and Rose another droid to take. I understand why it has to be BB-8. I actually don't. I don't understand because he could have been doing things with Poe, helping him out on the ship. But that's what happened. I hope BB-8's with Poe in Episode 9. I believe he will be. If Finn is with Rey, then I'm sure BB-8 will be with Poe. Also, here's the thing. I just thought of this right now. I think it would be an excellent sequence. One, I always thought that Rey would be the one to confront and take out the Knights of Ren, if not Luke. Now we know it's not going to be Luke. But what about this? Now that Snoke's out of the way, Kylo can really do what he wants. And I do believe he wants to be a Sith. And the Sith, it is spoken that it is a rule of 2. A master and apprentice. No more, no less. If he has these Knights of Ren, I can see a scene of Kylo slaughtering all but one. Kylo comes in. We meet the Knights of Ren. It's like he's Lord Ren now, or Darth Ren. I hope Darth Ren sounds nice to me. It's like I'm no longer Kylo Ren. It's Darth Ren. And he says, and maybe we get that hint that the Sith are back. And maybe he chooses his best, or maybe he lets them all fight, and the last one standing becomes his apprentice. But I think that would be a really interesting take, and then we can have them go against Rey, you know?
Wow. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, to bring in well, like, yeah, because like I know Luke had that line, and it's time for the Jedi to end.
Yeah.
But they kept the texts.
No, yeah.
The sacred
and
Jedi
he came
text.
around in the end. I will not be the last Jedi.
Yeah. Hold on, quick sidetrack. What's your favorite BB-8 line?
Impersonating BB-9E in episode 8. They boarded Snoke's ship, of course. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Put an Imperial trash can over him, rolling around, and I'm assuming it means something like, I'm here. It's me, your boy, BB-8. That's all I got for that.
But yeah, it's what about I was thinking about Chewie as I just look at his pop right
Chewie
here.
can't die.
Why do you always got to go like death? I'm like,
Chewie can't die. This helmet's giving me a headache. I'm gonna take it off.
Yeah, you warned that for. You warned.
Breathe.
How would you be able to like one day go into like an X-wing and?
Oh,
they wear that. They wear that.
Look,
it would be specially fitted.
I hope it'll be a little bigger. I hope they have. I gotta imagine they got different size helmets. This here, it ain't. It's nice. All right, it fits snug. I don't know if I want my helmet rattling. If I'm in a tense battle, I think I'll be able to handle this thing for an extended period of time. I don't need to do that. Okay, that's not a necessity at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I do think that Rey has to kill Kylo. I think Rey's gonna kill Kylo Ren in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Maybe he's redeemed in a dying, fleeting moment. Maybe that apprentice he takes on is perhaps the apprentice that Snoke has taken on before his death, and maybe he's risen to a power that Kylo Ren wasn't aware of, and maybe he ends up fighting Rey, the apprentice, and maybe he bests Rey in combat, which I would hate to see, and then Kylo comes in and fights him himself, because he sees because Leia isn't going to be in the movie. She will be in some capacity. They said they're going to be using unused footage, but if it comes down to what if they're about to destroy a base or something where Leia is, and Rey's fighting to save the entire rebellion, and she's beat. What if she's dismembered? Her arm gets cut off. I don't know if I'll be able to contain my composure. I have a very strong love for the character of Rey. But I would find it sort of powerful if Kylo steps up and tries to have a change of heart and does fight that guy, and he kills Kylo. So no, actually, Rey doesn't get dismembered because she still needs to fight here, okay? She gets beat. She's about to be killed. Kylo comes in and fights his lightsaber similar to... his lightsaber comes in, stops the lightsaber from striking Rey down. He fights the apprentice, and Kylo is slain by the apprentice. Then... Rey, she can either use one. I don't know what lightsaber she's going to have. Maybe it's going to be part of her staff. I don't know. Rey then has a triumphant moment fighting that apprentice who is basically the heir apparent to Snoke, whereas Kylo was the heir apparent to Lord Vader. And she defeats him. And then maybe she has a moment with Kylo before death, similar to how Luke did Vader. And I think that would be a special moment.
Yeah, it would.
That's my only way I see of Kylo being redeemed. I don't want it to happen. He's done too much. Vader did a lot of bad stuff, but we're going to let that slide because at the time we didn't know everything he did. We didn't know he killed not just the men, but the women and the children. We didn't know he slayed an entire generation of younglings.
Hold on. Wait a minute. From my point of view, the
Jedi kills younglings, goes to Mustafar, kills Senate and other political figures. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Kills the sand people.
Kills sand people. Not just the sand men, but the sand women and the sand children. Probably their pets. Definitely their pets.
Exactly.
Is this all Obi-Wan's fault? Or Qui-Gon? Should he have taken Anakin's mom?
Shmi
Skywalker. I mean, what? We had Klieg Lars? You think he could protect her? Clearly not.
Well, he had some friends, didn't he? He had some help.
And they all failed. All of them.
They did, yes.
Twisted an ankle. He's lost my leg. Trying to go get Shmee. I quit. I'm just here with my son, Owen. Hey, Owen. Introduce him. Introduce yourself. And Baru. One thing I would love, which we stated before, Joel Edgerton needs to come back as Owen Lars.
Oh my God.
But hey, Rey needs to be somebody. Rey needs to triumph. I need this to be called Star Wars: A Ray of Hope.
Okay.
Star Wars, I don't know. A Ray of Hope is my title that I hope they don't call it, but I hope they do.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be ridiculous. But yeah, I think that Episode 9 is in great hands. J.J. Abrams should have directed all 3. I think that in retrospect he would have. But yeah, Episode 9, I'm extremely confident that I'm going to love that film.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, it's just so...
Is Phasma coming back? Phasma's dead, right? Think Phasma's dead?
I think so.
I hope so.
Like, she fell into the she's
and I mean, you got metal armor on. It's got to get hot in that flame. You're probably going to burn, you're going to cook in there. Like, it's an oven.
I literally, I would be, I don't see, I can't even, think. How could she have survived that?
Maybe she had a grappling hook. Or jetpack. Or it's really an Iron Man suit.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine, but most likely. Because I'm Chewie, we got Chewie. I was thinking about,
Lando's coming back.
9
Nub. Dude, I would love it if we got Wedge Antilles. He needs to come back. Wedge Antilles needs to come back with Lando. We're gonna get what's his name? JJ brought him in. He's like the Wedge of episode 7. Oh my gosh. I'm never gonna forgive myself for not knowing this off the top of my head right now. Damn. Oh my goodness. He's an X-Wing pilot. He's fighting with Poe.
Oh my gosh, I can't. I don't got it.
R.I.P. to my credibility.
Wow.
Anyways, that guy needs to come back too. He wasn't in episode 8. I hope he was on a mission. R.I.P. to Tally. That one hurt me a bit. Episode 8, she died in the hangar.
Oh yeah.
Commander Cody. Execute Order 66.
Got the hands of Jango Fett.
The hands of Jango Fett. Okay, I'll throw this out real quick, though. If anyone is to play a new Sith Lord, the other apprentice of Snoke, who would you like it to be, off the top of your head?
Oh. Did not expect to be thrown this question, did nothing...
Not that I would only love it. I would love for him to headline a franchise in Star Wars, but... I mean, Christian Bale.
Oh,
Christian Bale. He's been having meetings with Lucasfilm. He was almost Beckett from Solo: A Star Wars Story, Han's mentor, and they ended up not using him because I think they want him to have a more
isn't he doing a movie
fruitful role.
Like doing a Dick Cheney movie right now?
Yeah, it looks just like Dick Cheney. It's crazy. It's wild. That guy's he's a chameleon. He's probably gonna win a Best Actor Oscar for that one. I'm sure.
Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney.
From that,
didn't he shoot his own man?
He did, yes.
Yep. He lived though, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he did.
Because I'm like, that would be manslaughter.
Anyways, we're really getting onto a tangent here.
Yeah.
You think Rey shoots his own man? What if, not Rey, Finn, what if Finn accidentally shoots Rose? Is that not going to happen?
Okay. Disney,
Can we write Rose off and just not have Rose, and it's just Finn and Rey? Rose is...
I really can't see, there's all these, there's a lot of characters, but I can't see, what could she do,
I don't know.
Wait. We need to talk about that little thing in episode 8.
What?
Episode 8, when Finn was going towards
the... Plot, it's a stretch. It is a stretch. When you're watching episode 8, Finn is going into that big beam that they're trying to break the wall down, right? He's going straight ahead. If you look, all the other speeders have turned around and going the other way. He's going full steam ahead. Rose sees him, somehow has the time. Sorry, helmet. to turn around. Finn's going dead ahead. She somehow has the time and speed to turn around, go all the way around, and intersect with him to save him and steal his moment of heroism.
Why'd you do that?
Why'd you do that? What did he say? I saved you, dummy. That's how we're going to win. Not by killing the things we hate, but by saving the things we love. What? That doesn't make any sense. That's not how war works.
It's not how the Force.
It's Star Wars, not Star Saves. I was going to be heartbroken if Finn died there and never got to reunite with Rey. But I did. I thought, man, they are doing it. Finn is going to die. Oh. Well, that was nice.
I was like,
but yeah, it just doesn't make sense that she could have caught up. That's my thing. It doesn't make sense.
Because they're all in the same like
the same model. Maybe his is a bit more of a clunker than hers, I guess. Maybe she got that nitrous. She's like, family.
I knew it.
Hit him.
Lifts the seat cover up.
Yep, exactly. Don't miss. That's what she said to herself as she turned around.
Okay.
But yeah, that's episode 9. I'm really pulling for my boy J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, wait. Okay, yeah. There's that. Did J.J. Abrams ever like finish a trilogy or anything like that? Or has he done?
Well, he just does so many projects, and I think that J.J. Abrams, people say like, "Oh, he's never finished. He doesn't finish things." Yeah. But I don't think it's because he can't, and I don't think it's because he doesn't want to. He's a huge producer. Like, he's one of the biggest producers in Hollywood, and he's always giving people chances. He loves giving other people's chances, and I think that it's great of him that he sets up these franchises and then he passes it off to another filmmaker.
Yeah.
And I think it's worked excellent thus far for him.
Yeah.
He's reinvigorated franchises. He brought Star Trek back from certain doom. There is nothing for Star Trek fans were dying off, literally. There were no fans being made, and the fans were old. Their fandom was small.
Yeah.
And he blew it up again.
Yeah,
and
for
Star
our
Trek
generation.
is huge now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like Star Wars. Well, we had a quick technical difficulty, but I think that pretty much wraps up the show. So basically, if you can, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Phantom of Movies. Follow us on this YouTube channel, Phantom of Movies. You can like, subscribe. If you are a fan of Star Wars in general, then I think that's basis enough for us to be friends. I just want to promote that we don't be toxic online. There's been so much hate with the fan base and everything. I know the Russian bot thing came up recently. You can look that up. But I think that's going to be it for today. Phantom of Movie podcast. No. Fan Awakens podcast, episode 2. Mm-hmm. How do you think it went, pal?
Oh, we talked about a whole range of things.
We did.
A lot of exciting things.
I kept myself from ranting too hard, so that's always a plus. But we will see you next week. The Fan Awakens podcast. Rey is number 1. That's it.